Welcome to this explainer. All right, let's just jump right in. We're looking at the Cohandy Youth Ecosystem Ceremonial Build Guide today. Now, forget everything you know about typical apps that are, just designed to steal your attention. Think of Cohandy more like, well, a massive open source digital toolbox. And its whole purpose? To literally rebuild communities from the ground up. We're going to take this massive, kind of complex community concept and transform it into a really vivid, empowering journey. If you've ever wondered how we actually build real infrastructure for the next generation, well, you are in exactly the right place.
So let's start with a big question. Who is actually going to build the new world? We almost always picture tech billionaires, elite developers, or, comic book superheroes swooping in to save us from the top down. But the Cohandy Guide, it flips that completely on its head. What if the true builders are actually you?
Which brings us to Section 1. The call to build. We're talking about a massive paradigm shift here. The old world model is totally top-down. It's driven by that elite few, the superheroes, the billionaires. But the new world is completely different. It's built from the ground up, by youth, by community stewards, local fix-it crews, basically everyday heroes. Cohandy isn't just software. It's designed as a giant toolbox for the physical world, taking power and placing it directly back into the hands of the people who actually live in these communities. So why are we even undertaking this ceremony in the first place? Well, the motivations are deeply human. We build because, honestly, families fundamentally deserve safety. Because our physical buildings actually need care and maintenance. And, crucially, we build because youth deserve real, impactful missions, instead of, just boredom and endless screen time. Communities deserve genuine tools that actually help them, rather than systems just designed to extract value from them. Basically, we build for each other.
Moving right along to Section 2, entering the gatehouse.
Okay, imagine a glowing doorway appearing right in front of you. As you step through this gatehouse, the system immediately recognizes exactly who you are. It holds your identity, your specific roles within the community, your safety permissions, and your unique path. Kind of like an ultimate, highly secured digital passport. It acts as your personal guide, making sure you're exactly where you need to be to make a positive impact.
And listen to this because it's a profound cultural shift. Everyone enters with dignity. No one is just a kid. Everyone is a steward in training. Really think about that. In traditional digital infrastructure, you're usually just categorized as a user or a consumer, right? But here, the language literally changes the reality. You are immediately respected as a steward in training. That is incredibly empowering for any young person stepping into this space.
Next up is Section 3, the ecosystem heart. Welcome to the movement kernel. You can think of this as the absolute engine room of the entire ecosystem. It's broken down into three main pieces. First, you've got the sovereign revenue kernel. This makes sure that financial value actually keeps flowing back to the people instead of out to some distant, faceless corporation. Second, the module catalog, which securely holds every single tool, operating system, and mission you might ever need. And third, the Meta OS Explorer. This acts as the master map of the whole world. So this entire setup ensures that both the tools and the value are centrally held and fiercely protected right at the heart of the system.
Now let's jump into Section 4, Meet the 12 Crews.
Because as you stand at this glowing core, you definitely aren't alone. You're actually joined by 12 distinct families, arriving like specialized squads, ready to protect each other and build up the community. You have the building crew, which is loaded with fix-it teams and engineers. Then the tenant and community crew, made up of neighbors and local helpers. There's the healthcare and engineering crew with nurses and safety teams. You also have the youth and school crew of students and mentors, the household crew managing everyday family life, and the governance crew directing the overall stewardship. Every single one of these first 6 families brings their own unique, absolutely critical tools to the mission.
And to round out the 12 families, we have the mobility crew, drivers and dispatchers keeping things moving. The agriculture crew of growers and gardeners. The disaster response crew, the folks ready for floods and emergencies. The employment crew, focusing on skill building and job seeking. The analytics crew, acting as the data readers and truth tellers. And finally, the multi-app crew, who are the navigators connecting the whole shebang. When you look at this full lineup, it brilliantly proves that it takes literally every type of real-world skill to maintain a healthy ecosystem. Not just coders in Silicon Valley, right?
All right. Section 5, the steward's code.
So, with these 12 massive crews assembled and ready to get to work, we have to establish the unbreakable laws they operate by. There are 6 core principles here: dignity, clarity, stewardship, safety, replicability, and continuity. And to be clear, this isn't just some boring corporate checklist. It's a manifesto. Dignity means treating people like they actually matter. Clarity keeps things simple and clean. Stewardship is all about stepping up to fix what you can. Safety, obviously, protects your crew. Replicability ensures the system is open and teachable to the next person coming up. And continuity means remembering the true story of the community. Every single youth steward carries these 6 principles like a badge because, honestly, it's the only way a movement of this scale survives and actually thrives.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 6, the Great Rebuild and Public Promise.
Just imagine this entire ecosystem lighting up like a city turning on at night, block by glowing block. Every single operating system gets rebuilt from the ground up. We're talking homes, schools, healthcare facilities, mobility networks, community gardens, and local jobs. And the entire ecosystem connects seamlessly right back through that gatehouse we talked about earlier. It remains fully aware of everyone's role, and it stays fiercely youth-friendly, ensuring safety and actual purpose at every single digital intersection.
But, you know, a monumental rebuild like this has to be grounded in something really solid. And that is the public promise. The ecosystem promises to build tools that actually help real people in their day-to-day lives. It promises to honor the hard work of its stewards, to heavily protect households and youth from harm, to keep the system entirely open source and teachable, and above all, to build with dignity, not data extraction. The focus here is purely 100% on human flourishing.
And this brings us to what might be the absolute most critical takeaway of this entire explainer. This is not tech. This is community infrastructure. We are so used to just downloading a slick app on our phones and calling it a day, right? But what Cohandy is outlining here is that we aren't just deploying software to pass the time. We are laying down the digital concrete and steel that will support the essential, everyday community functions of the future. It is a total reframe of how we view our digital tools.
As the gatehouse glows and the movement kernel hums like a heartbeat, the 12 families stand together in a circle. And we end this ceremonial build with a really powerful closing ritual. It goes, by this prompt we build together. By this build we protect each other. By this ecosystem we rise. It's such a stunning, unifying reminder that technology, when it's actually designed right, should unite and elevate all of us.
Which leaves us right here. The stage is perfectly set, the massive digital architecture is humming and waiting, and the tools are all laid out for the crews. But the ecosystem isn't complete without the next steward. Will you step forward and join the story? Are you ready to take up the steward's code and start building the new world from the ground up? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I want to leave you with a challenge today. Look at your own community right now and ask yourself, what can I build?